This might be the longest poem I've ever written. This shows how I can be long-winded when I want to, and all these haiku were a reaction to this long-windedness. It's entitled Identity Crisis. This is an example of me trying to write myself into a poem. And I don't know if I ever got there, but I woke up and I had kind of dreamt this, and then I tried to write it down as quickly as possible when I got up. And here it is. I don't want to be anyone but me, man, really. I just want to be all I can be until I can't be. No more. A pure and enduring shooting star until it's time to say sayonara. Kapow and ciao. I don't want to be king or prince, but in another way I do, since I have a Washington monument full of dreams, musical schemes, and I know very well what it's like when doves cry, though I don't have a clue how to answer the question of you. I'm pointing to myself here too. And I wonder why it's vice versa instead of versa vice. I want to be from the country, and I want to be from town. I want to be the nowhere man who wherever you go you find around. I don't want to be Allen Ginsberg, except when I'm beat, which is most of the time anymore, though I don't really believe in time anymore, and belief in time is such a chore when Corso, Kerouac, Cassidy, and Burroughs are my constant companions. But at times I get terribly tired of feeling beat when I'm on the road less than I'm on the commode. I want to go further than Kesey, but I don't want the cuckoo's nest. And I know why the caged bird sings, though I'm not sure about the rest. Maybe the birds and their songs and our rights and our wrongs are all Maya in a multitude of hues. The colors run through me like a rainbow in an oil slick on an Illyria street running through the halls of Marion Correctional Institution on the eve of the new millennium while I watch the 2,000 fireworks across the world on PBS all night long from my cell. And I wonder how it's possible I've never been freer, never been more of a seer than there. And I want to be that free here. Find perfect vision outside of prison like it was in the years before and hopefully after Bush. In between the years before and after religion, tradition, convention, ambition, subtraction, and long division. Before and after I was a skyline pigeon with no clue who I was or who you were or who we are. Maybe I do want to be Ginsberg or Kerouac, Coleridge or Kant, Byron, Christ, St. John of the Cross, Martin Luther King Jr., King Tut, the kid in the cheap seats eating junior mints, wishing he were purple like Prince, or green like the U.S. mints. Finally infatuated with the friendship of Peppermint Patty and earning the love of Lucy and Desi and the little red-haired girl and Fred and Ethel Mertz and Pigpen, Che Guevara, Citizen Kane, and Linus, without the line or the lie. I don't want to live in vain. I want to be like Stephen B. Smith, maybe Salinger, a .44 Magnum, not just a Derringer. Johnny Cash, Johnny Carson, Gary Larson, tearing down Bergen Belsen, Washington, D.C., Garfield, and O.D., O.D., and O-die. I want to give peace a chance, but be able to accept that war is her partner in the cosmic dance. Accept that both are lies, that nothing in this universe is left to chance, and yet, in another sense, everything is. And there's nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. But what do I know? I want to be Dostoevsky without the crime, and certainly without the punishment. Have freedom without the army and the government. And sometimes I like to choose the Karamazov I prefer and refuse the others, pretending one brother is better than another, though I know all too well that we're all for Karamazovs. We're all Kazantzakis who said the doors to heaven and hell are adjacent and identical. I think they might be the same door. There might be only one door, and we all look at it like blind men looking at an elephant. One grabs the trunk and calls it a snake. One grabs the leg and calls it pillar that will not break. One grabs only a whiff of the tail end and calls it PU. But what is that elephant man, really, with the incredible memory? It's Stephen B. Smith and the Firth of Fifth. It's Ray McNeice and Tolstoy's War and Peace. It's Donald, Dianne, Dreams, Desire, Denial, Demerol, The Doomed, and The Divine. It's juiced up Roger Clemens saying, look, babe, I didn't share my cigar with Mark McGuire or Andy Pettit. It's the heavy and the petty, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and Mario Andretti racing toward the grave, slaves of the thrill and the almighty dollar. Kerouac, Ginsberg, and Burroughs delivering us from literary squalor. Bush and Cheney, and sometimes even Obama making us holler. Whitman and Dickinson, Clinton and Monica, Dylan with his harmonica, Clapton and Hendrix with their guitars, Jay Leno with his classic cars, Venus and Mars and Pluto, a big black hole and a supernova, and so unimaginably much more. I don't want to be any of it, man, really. I don't want to be Barack the rock star, Hillary Clinton, John McPalin, Cheech and Chong, Kennedy, Nixon, Mason, Dixon, K-Fed, A-Rod, Brangelina, Brittany, or Bono. Or do I? I just want to be me. But what is this me anyway? What am I, man? Really? I don't want to be Kipling, Shere Khan, Genghis Khan, an ex-con, the naked Nagasaki bomb-bleached Japanese child, the so-called whore in the so-called Nazi Joy Division, or the so-called not see in her. I don't want to be the caged bird either, but I want to sing, and I want everyone to listen to my whistling and chirping until everyone's bending and maybe only pretending to listen, which is probably all they were ever doing in the first place. Bending, pretending to hear, man, really. And me too. Though I try like the devil not to, I pretend to listen and then wonder what I'm missing. Maybe the whole shebang is a lie. Mighty Maya, caged bird songs and all. Because how free can we really be, man? Really? How free in the land of the penny pinch and the U.S. mints and poetry turned K-N-O-W, know-it tree? Or know-it-tree. It's all bleeding. Like a sappy lie, sticky sweet through the crimson streets. And in our futile funk, we tap the trunk, try very hard to refine or define the oozing goo. Yet it's totally true, too. All too real. And there's nothing more real in this whole ordeal we call the universe. It's all illusion. It's all illusion. And it's all there is. Kurt Cobain sang, all in all is all we are. But he did not believe it, said the gun. And if there's no fun in the pretense, if there's no joie in the vivre, then we might as well leave and maybe someone who sticks around will be happier. I want to be faith walker and sight walker, oblivious to and aware of every hurdle. I want to be Teresa Gertel stretching the window from out of the desert, to be like Hansel and Gretel eating their gingerbread house and being tasted and tested, but not consumed. To impress all the chaps and even perfect-bound books like Larry Smith and Mark Kuhar, but be the top dog, deeper than Cleveland, like a Jim Tomey Homer back in the day finding its way to the bottom of Lake Erie and beyond. To be professors like Howard Ellis, Timothy Leary, John McKenna, Helen Shepherd, and the Good Shepherd, the innocent shepherd boy blue with the sheep in the meadow and the cow in the corn and a Satchmo horn that I can blow like miles, and a free pass to get me through the most expensive turnstiles and the aisles and miles of poetry in your eyes. I want to be like my wife, Jerry Lynn, like my mom again, like my grandchildren, like my dad, like my dear old granddad, but without the nasty Nazi tattoo on his hand. I want to maintain a bad boy image, but without having anyone mistake me for bad, to keep them from messing with me without keeping them in fear. And maybe then I won't be so sad around here. I want to have a certain semblance of madness to infuse and inspire my art, but I don't want people to take me too seriously when I appear to fall apart or think I'm really mad, except in the most brilliant of ways. And I guess that what I want most these days is out of this daze I've been in since God knows who knows when. I'd like to be able to start again. I want to know who I actually am and to be it. I want folks to see it, man, really see it, not judge it, and hopefully love it, and be what they are and love it. And I'll love it too. You know, there's a part of me who believes I'm really you. And yes, you're really me. And if we could just open our egotistical eyes and see it, we could love, man, really. And maybe love would be all we need after all. And I don't think things would get too terribly boring with all this love and no warring, as long as we didn't all live forever and overpopulate the earth to the point that we suck her dry and destroy our chances of living at all. But we're doing that already anyway. And I wonder if our birth and being really complement the earth we're seeing or condemn it. And while we're feeling up the elephant in the room, blind as bats and batty as Babe Ruth, we mistake the lie for truth and truth for lie. We swallow maxims like an eye for an eye and wonder why we can't see. Maybe there is nothing real or untrue, but thinking makes it me and makes it you. I suspect I know all too well that we're all for Karamazovs and handwritten Russian heavens and hells, and Nabokovs, Molotovs, Kerouacs jacking off. We're all Mandela and Frederick Douglass and Crazy Horse, Stephen Biko and the Velvet Underground and Nico, Zorba the Greek, and Nikos Kazantzakis, who said in The Last Temptation of Christ that the doors to heaven and hell are adjacent and identical. I'm willing to bet my chances at either or that they might be the same door, that there might be only one door after all, and we're all pretending to see it, like blind men looking at an elephant. One grabs the trunk and calls it a snake. One grabs the leg and calls it pillar that will not break. One grabs only a whiff of the tail end and calls it P.U. But we fail to see it be you. And be me, as much as it be him or her or BM. And all in all is all we are, like Kurt Cobain said before he blew off his head. All in all is all we are, despite our poetry or know-it-tree or know-it-tree. And one day we will know it and see that if Kurt didn't really believe it all before he said chow and kapow, he does now. So there you have it, that's Identity Crisis. So now you've heard enough from me, and I would love to